All right, so today we're going deep on something a bit different.
Oh.
I'm going to be looking at a political event, Donald Trump's address to Congress.
Okay.
But through the lens of comedian Cat Williams.
Interesting.
It's really a fascinating mix of humor and insight.
Yeah.
And we're going to unpack Cat's take on everything from, like, Trump's grand entrance to the reactions in Congress.
Right.
And the deeper message, beneath all the jokes.
It's fascinating how someone like Cat Williams, who's, not a political commentator, can use his comedic background
Right.
to analyze this event.
Exactly.
He sees things in a very different way.
Yeah.
He focuses on the theatrics and performance aspects of the whole thing.
Yeah, and he starts right off by comparing Trump's entrance to a rock concert.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he paints this picture of Congress, like, all these, like, stiff suits,
Yeah.
all hushed and tense.
Right.
And then, bam,
Yeah.
Trump enters with that swagger.
Like he owns the place.
With that aura of I'm in charge. It's not even just confidence.
Yeah.
It's almost like a challenge to anyone who might doubt him,
Yeah, it's definitely a calculated move, I think. That swagger is such a key part of his persona.
Totally.
And Cat picks up on it immediately.
Oh, yeah.
It resonates so strongly with his supporters.
For sure.
It projects that strength and a rejection of all those, like, traditional political norms.
It does. He commands the room, for sure.
He does.
And Cat highlights how Trump uses that energy to target what he calls the deep state.
Right.
And the fake news media right off the bat.
Immediately.
Which sets the tone for what Cat calls the Trump rant.
The Trump rant. I love it.
It's great. And it's in that rant that I think Cat's comedic analysis really shines.
Okay.
He breaks down Trump's trademark line. Nobody treats me like this. Nobody.
Right.
He compares it to a comedian working the crowd.
Oh, okay.
Dishing out insults like hotcakes at a Sunday brunch.
I get it.
It's almost as if Trump is saying, I'm the best, and if you don't believe me, you're part of the problem.
That's a great point.
Yeah, and Cat's analogy makes you realize how much of this address is about ego and self-promotion.
Oh, for sure.
It's almost like a stand-up routine where the punchline is always, I'm great, everyone else is wrong.
Exactly. And that raises a question for me.
What's that?
Is this just Trump being Trump?
Yeah.
Or is there a deliberate strategy at play here?
Right.
By framing it through this comedic lens, Cat kind of makes us consider the effectiveness of that whole approach.
Absolutely.
Does it alienate some people while galvanizing others?
Right.
It's certainly one way to control the narrative.
It is. And Cat doesn't let us forget that beyond the jokes, Trump does touch on actual policy.
Right.
He mentions the economy, government spending, bringing back jobs.
Yeah.
But even then, it's framed as a challenge, almost like, y'all better listen up because I'm the only one who can fix this.
That's an astute observation.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how Cat sees Trump blend humor and policy in a way that just reinforces his authority. It's not just about what he's saying, but how he's saying it.
Totally.
He's not just like laying out plans, he's asserting his dominance.
Yeah, and it's so fascinating how Cat points out the reactions in Congress.
What were they like?
Drop jaws, head shaking, even some chuckles. He says it's like a comedy skit, which, makes you wonder, did everyone in that room realize they were part of the performance?
I see your point, but I do think comparing it to just a comedy skit is maybe oversimplifying things a little.
Oh, okay, why?
This was a serious political event with, real-world consequences.
You're right. It's easy to get caught up in the entertainment aspect.
Yeah.
But Cat does acknowledge that underneath the humor, there's a deeper message.
Okay.
He talks about how Trump is essentially saying, I'm still in this game and I'm not backing down. Cat calls it either patriotism or pure bravado.
Wow.
Leaving it really open to interpretation.
That's really interesting. I think that's where Cat's perspective gets really valuable. He forces us to confront the ambiguity of Trump's message and, its potential interpretations.
Right.
Is it genuine conviction or is it a carefully constructed performance?
Exactly. And that leads to Cat's overall takeaway that Trump's address was more than anything a performance.
Okay.
A demonstration of how showmanship can be a powerful tool in politics.
Yeah.
He even calls it a blockbuster comedy special.
I love it.
Full of bold claims, theatrics, and a room divided between cheers and eye rolls.
That's why I think Cat's analysis is so valuable.
Yeah.
He uses humor not to mock, but to dissect and reveal the underlying mechanics of the whole thing. Like, the political theater.
Political theater, yes.
He makes us think about how personality and performance are becoming so influential in political discourse these days.
It's a really important point to consider.
Yeah.
So to wrap things up, remember Kat's closing line.
Let's hear it.
Truth is stranger than fiction.
Absolutely.
And that leaves us with something to ponder.
Okay.
You ready? How does Kat's comedic lens change your perception of this political event? Does it make you think differently about how we consume and interpret political information in this age of entertainment-driven news?
That's something to think about for sure.
It is.
It really is.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
You bet.
We'll see you next time.
Looking forward to it.
All right.